what are you going to be doing with your 1 hour of electricity? I'm going to be using my blender to make a smoothie. Ha ha, Demby, that's it, Power Hour. Proudly brought to you by Escom. Oh, man. Oh. By the way, what is Cyril doing about the load shedding? No, I ask because I've been trying to find out, and I can't find any information on it. He used to give press conferences every day during COVID, and then now he's gone. What is he doing? Do you know? Because I can't find nothing. He's doing nothing? That's an interesting approach. It's a really interesting one. I'll be honest, man, I don't know how to feel about Cyril's presidency. I don't know how to feel about Cyril's presidency. Because he was promised as the person who would bring consistency, right? I didn't know it would be like consistent load shedding. And it's crazy when you think of how it began. You know, when Cyril became president, South Africans were ecstatic. It reverberated around the world. Newspapers would report, is this the turning point for South Africa? People in the streets here were so happy. They called it Ramaphoria. Remember that? They said it was Ramaphoria. I saw him in Cape Town walking along the promenade. People were cheering for him. He was taking pictures with babies. And then now, you come back a few years later, those babies are deleting their pictures. I feel like Cyril is the most disappointing president this country's ever had. Honestly, I feel like Cyril is the most disappointing president this country has ever had. Not the worst president, not the worst president, the most disappointing president. There's a difference. There's a difference, yeah. Because we all know who the worst president was. Yeah. Hendrik Verwoerd. But Cyril is the most disappointing. The reason I say disappointing is because disappointment lives in the gap between expectation and reality. Cyril came in at the highest level of expectation. And now we're sitting here in a reality that's so far from what we expected. You know? Whereas with Zuma, say what you want about Zuma. Say what you want about Jacob Zuma. We weren't disappointed. We were shocked, but we weren't disappointed. Because remember, guys, that guy came in with a shower. Don't forget that, eh? He kicked things off with a shower, so no one can be like, oh, I can't believe what happened. Hey. From the very beginning, we were like, okay, this guy's coming with action and personality, yeah? From the very get-go, Zuma came in with a shower. He came in dancing and smiling. We were like, all right, we're going to be in for a ride. And that's exactly what we got. That's exactly what we just didn't expect that degree, you know? If you think of it this way, it's like South Africa is a car. If you think of South Africa like a car, the president is the person driving that car. We're all the passengers. You know, we're there, we're paying for the petrol, we're paying for the maintenance, all of it, and the president's driving. You know, and when Zuma came in, we could see, hey man, this guy, you know, it's gonna be interesting. And he came in there. I'm ready to drive. And everyone there was like, Jacob, are you drunk? And he was like, no, I'm wasted. And he got in that car and he drove it like it's never been driven before. He crashed into everything. He broke every speed limit. At some point, he started selling the parts to the Guptas. Take the battery, we don't need it. And then finally, South Africans had enough. Jacob got kicked out of the car. We were all looking at it there, barely surviving. And then we're like, who's the next driver gonna be? Who can drive this car next? And the DA was like, we can drive. And we're like, we're not ready yet. Yeah, it's too soon. Cyril, are you gonna drive? And Cyril was like, yes, I can drive the car. And we're like, wait, Cyril, are you drunk? And Cyril was like, no, I don't even drink. And we were like, oh, wow, okay. All right, here you go. And he got in the car. But what we didn't know is that he only had a learner's license. Because he sat in that driver's seat, he put his seatbelt on, he looked down and he was like, whoa, it's a manual. It looks like we're gonna learn together. Because I'm sorry, man, I just feel like sometimes Cyril he just lacks conviction. You know, that's what it is. I think that's what a lot of people feel. It feels like he lacks conviction. He'll come out and be like, I'm gonna fight corruption, I'm gonna fight it. And it's like, are you fighting it though? You know, it doesn't feel like you fight. Like if you're gonna fight corruption, fight corruption. And if you're gonna be corrupt, be corrupt. You know, just lukewarm. Like even his scandal, even Phala, what was that? Huh? What kind of scandal was that? Guys, come on, man. What kind of scandal? And not nuclear weapons, you know? Not giant contract, no. Buffalo. Guys, do you understand how my friends in America roasted me when that story came out? That was a tough day in my life. When the newspaper, it's in the way I was raised, it's in the languages I speak. And I'll be honest, nothing makes me sadder than the way some people talk about the country. I don't judge them, by the way, because I understand, but you know, like sometimes people will walk up to me and they think it's gonna be like something we'll share. They'll be like, Trevor, South Africa it's terrible. It's the worst country in the world. Huh? Trevor, this country is rubbish. It's the worst. It's terrible. There's nothing worse than this. I'm like, look, I understand that you're frustrated, but like, be mindful of your words. This is far from the worst country in the world. It's far from it. Right? If there's one thing I hope people would realize is when you give up, that's when it truly fails. Right? It is not the worst country in the world. In my opinion, it is a great country that's going through one of the worst periods in its time. There's a difference. You can have a great country going through a bad time. It doesn't mean that it's now a bad country. We've got so many things to hope for. We've got so many things to work for, people. Are you kidding me? And then people will come to me, they'll be like, yeah, but Trev, it's easy for you to say, bro, but look at the looting and the riots. Yeah, guys, there's looting and riots in every country around the world. It happens when there's a lack of service delivery. You will see it anywhere. America was burning down at some point. Paris is burning every few weeks. Huh? Every few weeks. Have you seen them? And the French are angry. Petrol bombs everywhere. J'ai trop de les pattes de lui croître dessus. Allez, de quoi de la merde. Se trotter du futur. Yes, I know they also loot and riot in South Africa, but at least here in South Africa, when they loot, they smile. That way I know it's not personal. They're shaking things up. One of my favorite lootings I ever saw was on the news. There was this guy who looted a TV. He looted a TV, guys. And it was a short guy, and he was running with the TV, and just like, yeah, yeah. And you could see he was having the best day ever. Yeah. And while he was running with the TV, another guy came who was bigger than him and grabbed the TV. And he was like, And then the big guy took the TV. And then he ran away with it, gone. And this little guy, I've never seen a human have so many emotions in 30 seconds. Yeah. 30 seconds earlier, this guy was in heaven. He was there running with his new TV like, yeah, where's the police? 30 seconds later, he was like, where's the police? I'll take it any day of the week. People be like, yeah, you say that, Trevor, you say that, eh? You say that. Yeah, but what about the crime? What about the crime, Trevor? Huh? Yes, I admit it, the crime is terrible. It's out of control. We have to do something about it. We have to fight against it, But the thing that gives me hope is that it's a problem that has a solution. Economists have shown time and time again around the world that when there's a high rate of crime, it is often tied to a high rate of unemployment. And so if you work to fix that unemployment, you are then solving the problem of crime. They've shown this time and time again. It is not an easy problem to fix, but it is fixable. People are like, but you're in America, bro, you're lucky. You don't even have crime. It's like, okay, first of all, there is crime. And second of all, there's something else that we don't have in South Africa, mass shootings. Yeah, that's the craziest thing ever. Just randomly, you're in a room, in a public space, anywhere. Someone comes in, giant gun, starts shooting. 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, dead. Why? Nobody knows. Imagine that. Now you're dead. You don't know why. Just getting into heaven. I know they're both terrible, guys, but for me, I'll choose crime, eh? No, because even with crime, at least there's a moment where I know there's hope, where I can be like, okay. But let me take my SIM card and delete my browser history. I'll choose South Africa any day of the week. These are things I think about. I have to think about them. Because now, I've lived in America for so long that they say that soon I'm going to be given a US passport. Right? You say woo because you don't know what it comes with. Tandaga, you're clapping already. Yay! Didn't even ask about terms and conditions. Because I read the terms and conditions of having an American passport. There are many things that I don't like. First and foremost, I will have to be subject to the American legal system. Yeah. I'm not enthusiastic about that, I'm not gonna lie. Because I never planned to do anything wrong in America. But in the back of my head, I always thought if something was to be done by me, I felt good knowing they would have to deport me. They would be like, you're guilty, you're deported. And I'll be like, no. And then I'll come home and be like, Maracas, you must know, South Africa, you guys know, you know what happens sometimes, but you never know. Why did Rihanna leave her iPhone like that? No, but I seriously don't want to be involved in the American justice system. Because they say it's justice, but it's terrifying. You don't know how they'll treat you. You don't know why they'll treat you. The scariest part for me is what happens in courts. Because they have a jury system in America. I'm terrified of that. Terrified of it. For those who don't know, I'm sure you've seen it on TV, but for those who don't know, the American system is very different to the South African one. In South Africa, you have the judge, you have the prosecution, and you have the defense. Right? That's who your case is working with, and the judge decides. The judge has studied, they're learned, they know what's going on. And you can talk to them on their side. I'm joking. But I like knowing that person had to go to school to figure out whether I broke the law. In America, it's a different system. They have a judge, they have a prosecution, and they have a defense, but they also have a jury.